Thanks, Basil. So thank you very much for coming here today. See a lot of familiar faces, so really appreciate your time on a Friday afternoon instead of the pub. You're here with us, so that's why we made sure that we brought the pub to you. Yeah. So thank you very much again. So also want to thank Larry because Larry has been, he's a really tough nut. Right? Every time you go to him, you have all these different requirements because he's very technical, right? And we are glad to have someone like him behind us because without a challenger like them, we cannot improve. So really want to thank Larry for all the guidance he's given us. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about innovation with smart security. I think my slides itself, is definitely not as colorful as the past few, but I hope that I can actually share with you what we're trying to do. Okay. So I added a bit more pictures because I think that I want to share a little bit about the company. We started off in Loyang, it's a bit of a eastern part of Singapore, if anybody's been there. Then we went to Changi Sailing Club. It's really quite a nice place. We really missed the place with all the sailing boats and sunset, a beer by the sunset. And then after that, I think last year we had our Solutions Day in the American Tech Room. I think many of you went there before. But there's an evolution of a lot of products that we have, right? From smart locks to access control, and then now in terms of AI platform for IFM. And I think what has not changed is the core team. The people that we have, a lot of them, they were with us from day one. So we're really pleased about that. And along the way, we have brought in a lot more people that, people that people that, have solved your problems. And that has actually helped us evolve, right? So our company is about the people, and because our people is the one that defines our technology. So a little bit more about us. We do smart access, CCTV with video analytics, IoT sensor. But what brings everything together is the AI platform. So we're glad to announce that we're going to set up our Suzhou office. In Q1 of this year. I came up with a few names about what Willowmore should sound like in Chinese, but it was a very friendly debate with CK. So we have not finalized it yet. Once we've finalized it, we'll share it with everybody. And the focus is really on sales and R&D. I think China is way ahead in terms of a lot of the Western countries, Japan, Singapore now in terms of technology. So we are trying to learn from them. Right? So being there to witness the kind of evolution of technology, I think is good for us. So we must grow in that particular market. We have quite a big operation in Indonesia. We're going to double the team there. We have securing about 50,000 sites. And from a sustainability point of view, every single lock that's being used, they're saving 1 ton of CO2. So 50,000, they're saving 50,000 tons of CO2 every year. So I think it's a very good sustainability message. We don't really share enough about it, and we will. In terms of what we are focusing on education, critical infrastructure, facility management, as well as for critical infrastructure, as well as commercial, as well as for enterprises. So today, the focus is on education, right? And we are very pleased that we have a very good partner. Whenever we develop a product itself, we work with subject matter experts to understand what's the problem, and then we develop solutions that really solves the problem. So we are very honored to have OBA as one of our partners. The ideas that they come up with is sensational, things that I've never thought about, but those are the challenges that they face every day. So that's the reason why we're very pleased to share about what we're actually doing with OBA. So what we're actually doing is a unified security platform, bring all the different things that we actually do. And so what's beyond security, right? The first step, I think, is about digitalization, making sure that the hardware is enabled to communicate, enabled to send data, because it's only when you have that data that you can actually integrate that with your capabilities. And once you integrate that, your AI can come in, actually do automation and help you improve your operations. And that's where we call convergence. So the reality, right? So one of the problems that we face is that, there's so many pictures. How can you see all the different CCTVs, right? So it's about return on investment. The reality is challenging. but you need to be able to use technology to solve these problems. In the education setting, I think the infrastructure needs to be ready. You need to have equipment that meets the challenges on the ground. And we actually discuss very in detail with our customers about what kind of technology will help them today, but also in the next 5 years' time. I think that's very important. And then after that, what are the key areas to identify? You cannot solve 101 problems, but if you can solve the top 5 problems, more than 80% of problems will go away. And of course, the most important thing is that how can you actually use technology? In this case, we are calling it AI to solve a lot of these problems for you, so that you can do active monitoring instead of passive monitoring. So all the things that I've talked about, we'll take a look at it later, so that you can have a feel in terms of, we're not just talking about it, we are making it work. So it's about operational insight, provisioning all this data so you can make decisions, and then once you have that, you need someone to tell you the stuff that you do not know. And in this case, we're asking AI to tell us, right? And then you have once you have that, you can develop a closed loop system where a problem can be made to a solution, and then the solution will close the loop so that you can actually review it. So this whole closed loop process in itself allows you to see that problems are addressed when they happen, not after they happen. Okay, so in terms of security, we have discussed this as well. One area that we are looking at is incident monitoring. You have got terabytes of data in your school when you come to monitoring. You are not going to look at 1,000 hours of footages. So what our unique proposition is, identify which of the 10 minutes or 10 seconds you need to look at and focus on those. Right? You don't need to look at all the data. So incident monitoring is very critical. We also show you in terms of how our CCTV system is integrated with our VA, how the ticket is actually managed, how the security guards can actually use this to be activated to go to the site to take actions, and then of course KPIs. So this is something that some of you are from the regulators. You have told us it's not just about solving problems, but knowing whether you are solving the problems. And that's where the KPI comes into play. We need to know the actions that we take, is it actually delivering the outcomes? Okay, so these are some of the technologies in the market that you can actually use to solve the problem. And these are the ones that we have developed in-house. So we are very proud to say that Willowmore is one of the AI companies that's developing technology here in Singapore. The solutions that we have is developed here in Singapore, for companies here in Singapore. So these are the models that we have developed, and a lot of them are valid for the different circumstances that you have here. So this is a few of the examples. Active monitoring, the one that elaborated earlier. Safety monitoring. If let's say if someone is not wearing PPE, someone is doing something dangerous, you can actually catch that. Access monitoring, we'll launch quite a fair bit of new locks and access control systems. We'll share that to you later. But not everywhere you can have cameras. So we actually use sound monitoring as well. We actually use sound very actively. And in the setting of education, I think places where you cannot have cameras is actually quite useful to identify specific distress, identify incidents that needs to be reviewed. So another one that we will showcase as well is in terms of places that you cannot have, you don't want to have microphones or cameras, but you can actually use sensors. So what we have done is that we have developed a sensor that allows you to identify if someone has collapsed in the toilet. Maybe this person has got epilepsy, collapsed in the toilet, had a heart attack. You need to be able to identify that and call for help. Because if you do a post-analytics, this person will be dead by then, right? So that's another sensor that we will showcase later. Vehicle monitoring, I think license plate, who comes and who goes out. The parking that, someone is parking in the red parking lot, we can actually use that to detect that as well. Fall detection. Fall detection was a very interesting project because we have that model for quite a while, but we actually collaborated with a group of SMU students to actually, get it ready, commercialize it for the elderly in Singapore. So we're quite proud of that. And then of course in terms of backlisting, whitelisting, so when people come in and out, we can use that to say that if there's anybody, like for example, if one of our competitors come to this event itself, so this person is, shouldn't be here. So we have that capability as well. And it is actually quite useful, and I think we should do it more. So for example, if you have an event where there's important people, if there's someone that shouldn't be there, we should know who they are. Okay, so I think my last slide is about summarizing what we think is going to be the future. So when you actually start to do adoption of technology itself, like what we have done with OVA, we don't look at just installing because it's the regulation, we need cameras in the student care. It's about understanding digitalization today, how we can actually use that data, what it's going to be like in the next 3 to 5 years, and then in the next 3 years we will get the ability to use AI to look at all that data, and then in the next 3 to 5 years we look at how we can actually do command and control. Because once you have got 10 sites, 50 sites, 100 sites, you need to be able to have a central office to take all these decisions. If not, your middle management cost is going to be a lot higher. Okay, so this is another example. If there's a fight in a shopping mall, if there's a fight in a dormitory, you need to be able to close the loop. If someone fights, automatically the CCTV will pick it up. You'll give the security guard the access. You'll go to the place where the fight happens. You solve it, and then the system is closed. So all this is actually decided and executed by AI. So this is all I have for you today. Thank you very much for your time. Look forward to interacting with you more after this session. Thank you.